Hi everybody, today is Friday, September 28th, and these are the notes, solving equations with square roots. So we're going to do some factor trees using prime numbers like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. These kind of numbers, use these kind of numbers to factor with. So to simplify each square root, what you're looking for is pairs of prime numbers. So off to the side, we're going to take 80. We're going to do a factor tree. So as long as it's even, we're going to start with a 2. What's half of 80? 40. Start with a 2 again. What's half of 40? 20. Start with a 2 again. What's half of 20? 10. 10 is even. 2 and 5. So these are the factors right here of 80 using prime numbers only. So 80 can be rewritten as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. So to simplify a square root, for every pair of these, like 2 times 2 is really 2 squared. So you're trying to get pairs of these. For every pair of them, 1 comes out. Then you cross them out. Circle another pair. That means another 2 comes out. Cross them out. Now the one that's not paired up is 5, so that stays under the radical. But for every pair, 1 comes out. So then you just multiply what's out front, and your answer is 4 square root of 5. And that's how you simplify a radical. So for the next one, we're going to have 12 times radical something. So we're going to do a factor tree for 18. 18 is even, so 2 times 9. Now 9 is not even, so try 3. 3 and 3. So these are the factors for 18. 2, 3, and 3. So you go 2 times 3 times 3. Circle the 2 3's because they're paired up. That means 1 3 is going to come out. So we have 12. We already have a 12 out here, but we're bringing out a 3. Cross them out. So the only thing that's left underneath is a 2. So 12 times 3 is 36 radical 2. It's simplified. So when you're done when the number underneath doesn't have any other pairs of factors underneath. So 162. It's a pretty big number, but manageable. So what is half of 162? So take 162 divided by 2 on your calculator. It is 81. Now 81 is no longer even, so I'm going to try 3. 81 divided by 3 on your calculator is 27. And 27 is 3 times 9. And 9 is, sorry, I have a cold, I think. 3 times 3. So these are all the factors of 162. So we're going to write them in the radical. So we have 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So your answer is for every pair of 3's, 1 comes out. Another pair comes out. Cross it out. There's only one number that's not paired up. It is a 2. Put it back under. And your answer is 9 square root of 2. So 4 and 72. 72. Factor tree up here. It's even. So half of 32 is 36. Half of 36 is 18. Half of 18 is 9. And 9 is 3 and 3. So it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So a pair of these and a pair of these comes out. So we have a 4 already out here. We're bringing a 2 out, cross them out. Bring a 3 out, cross them out. And there's still 2 left underneath. So if you multiply 4 times 2, that's 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Your answer is 24 square root of 2. So now we're going to solve. So it says isolate the term that is squared. In other words, isolate the variable. Square root both sides. But you have to remember that if you square root both sides, you have to put a plus minus in front of the radical on the right side, the side that doesn't have a radical. And then you're going to simplify the radical like we did above. So in this problem, You're solving for x. Just keep in mind, if it's an x squared, there are two solutions for every x squared. Okay? So when you want to get rid of the square, you square root both sides. But when you do that, you have to throw in a plus minus. So the square root of x squared is just x, because 2x is a pair of them, one comes out. Plus or minus the square root of 90. So 90 is 2 times 45, and 45 is 3 times 15, and 15 is 3 times 5. So it's 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. I'm going to circle the 2 3's and bring one of them out. And then multiply what's left. So these crossed out. And then 2 is single and 5 is single. So you just multiply them underneath and throw a plus minus in. And this is what x equals. 3 plus or minus radical 10. Whoops, you can't see that. Solving for x, subtract 1. 2x squared equals 16. Divide by 2. X squared equals 8. Now you're going to square root both sides. Throw in a plus minus. So the square root of x squared is x. 8 is 2 and 4 and 2 and 2. So square root of 8 is 2, 2, and 2. So x equals plus or minus. A pair of them comes out. Bring a 2 out. Cross them out. The answer is plus or minus radical 2. So this one's going to be a fraction. I don't know if I even want to do this one. Negative 5x squared equals negative 12. Divide by negative 5. X squared equals 12 fifths. You're going to square root and get x equals plus or minus. Now 12, a pair is going to come out, so it's going to be 2 square root of 3 on top over square root of 5. And if you know anything about rationalizing, multiply top and bottom by radical 5. This is your answer. Don't worry about C. I'm not going to make you do one that hard. So on this one, we're going to add 1. We're going to multiply both sides by 25. So x squared equals 300. Square root both sides and do a factor tree for 300. 2 and 150, 2 and 75, 3 and 25, 5 and 5. So x equals plus or minus. Let's do the pairing right in the factor tree. See how there's a pair of 2's? Bring one out. Oops, I didn't really give myself enough room. 2. Cross them out. There's also a 5. Bring a 5 out. Cross them out, and then there's a 3 underneath. So my answer is x equals plus or minus. Multiply 2 and 5, which is 10. Square root of 3. Hey, will someone do me a favor and pass out these notes?
Yeah, I will.
We're going to start right with the notes. I'm just doing a quick video of the notes real quick and put these on. I just have 2 more problems. So E, divide by 3. And you get 7. Now, I have to get rid of the square before the subtraction because it's in a quantity. So when you square root both sides, you bring down the x minus 2 in parentheses, and then you get plus or minus square root of 7. Now these parentheses don't mean anything anymore because the square is gone. So we're just going to add 2 to the other side. And x is, now you're not allowed to add 7 and 2 because 7's in a radical, but we're going to put this 2 in front of the plus minus. And that's your answer. You're not allowed to add these. Sorry, you can't see that. So again, we added 2 to the other side. Put it in front of the plus minus. You are not allowed to add these, so just write it like that. And the last one. Add 45. And you get 98. Next step, divide by 2. So you get a minus 16 squared equals 49. Then you're going to get rid of the square. So you're going to square root both sides, put a plus minus. Now this side, 49 actually is a perfect square. If you punch that in your calculator, it is 7. So you don't have to do a factor tree because it is a perfect square. And your last step is to add 16. Now the 16 goes in front of the plus minus. So we're going to go a equals 16 plus or minus 7. Since the 7 does not have a radical, you are allowed to separate if the radical is gone. If the radical is gone, separate. So you have 16 plus 7 or 16 minus 7. So your answers would be 23 or none. You can only do that if the radical is gone. So with that said, the next one you would multiply both sides by 2. Get x plus 8 squared equals 28. Square root both sides. 28 is 2 and 14, which is 2 and 7. See how there's a pair of 2's there? So that's 2 radical 7. Subtract 8. That goes in front of the plus minus. You do not separate because that's a radical, so that is your answer.